Hi, hello, welcome.
Hi
Welcome,
guys,
welcome to Travel Tuesday with Blue Planet Scuba. I'm Heather,
and I'm Jonas.
and this week we're going to be talking about what we think is one of the Caribbean's best kept secrets. This is St. Eustatius, also known as Statia. And we had heard about Statia for a long time from our friend Cheryl at Deep Blue Adventures. And last October 2019, we finally had a chance to go check it out for ourselves. And it was amazing. I think the big three things that I really love about Statia. The first would be the history. It has a really unique history for this little teeny tiny island in the Caribbean that most people don't even know about. Also, the topside is absolutely incredible. It's definitely kind of old school Caribbean, laid back. Mm-hmm. It's not touristy. If you want casinos and shopping malls, like this is not it. It's the perfect little getaway. And it's beautiful. There's great hiking and just gorgeous things topside. But the best thing is the underwater life. It's absolutely incredible. And yeah, we've got some really fun pictures from our trip there to share with you and tell you a little bit more about the island.
Yeah, and just wanted to follow up on that is that it is, like Heather said, if you're looking for a getaway, it's perfect. But like she said, there is no McDonald's there. There's no Marriott. There's no Hilton. It is literally an island with people who've just wanted to get away from everything. So it has very much, if you're looking to chill out, it's probably about as chill as you get.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and share some photos, or try to. Bear with us with the technology. That one. All right. Cool. So yeah, hopefully this is working okay. Hopefully someone will come downstairs and yell at us if it's not. But just to give you a sense of where Statia is, it's one of the considered the Dutch Antilles, the Dutch West Indies. It is where the red dot is. Basically, you fly into St. Martin, which is just above that, and then take a little teeny tiny plane on Win Air over from St. Martin to the island. It just takes a few minutes. If anyone's ever been to Saba before, you can see Saba from the hotel that we stay at. it's super close. And yeah, so right there in the middle of the Caribbean, tiny little island. It's only 8 miles square. And once you arrive, this is what it looks like. It's gorgeous. The hotel that we stay at and the dive shop are all the way down at the bottom of that picture, right on the water. You can see the volcano in the background. So it's not a huge island. It has a national park that goes around the volcano and an area up to the northern marine park, which is huge, that goes all the way around the island. And we'll show you a picture of that here in a second too.
Yeah, talk about history. The dive shop and the hotel, the old gin house, are all in buildings that are more than 300 years old. So, and then right above it, you can kind of see where the hill comes up. That is the original old fort from way back when.
Cool. So this is a little bit closer photo of the hotel that we stay at, the old gin house. And it's beautiful. It has some rooms right there on the front. If you see the kind of 3-level structure, those are the oceanfront rooms right next to the restaurant. This is the main part of the hotel when you arrive. Basically, it's great. We dive with Scuba there, and they are lovely and they took such good care of us the week we were there. We're excited to go back and see everyone there again. And they actually picked us up at the airport and brought us to the hotel. We checked in and did our little dive orientation at the hotel bar. And in the meantime, all of our bags had magically appeared in front of our room, which made it super easy. They have garden rooms too. They have this beautiful little pool and the garden rooms in the back, you can get 1 king bed or 2 beds. So it's great. We have a lot of single travelers who like to come with us and, sometimes share a room with a roommate. So it's a perfect setup for that. Also, this is what one of the oceanfront rooms looks like.
Yep. These are not in 300-year-old buildings.
Yeah, it's a little more modern. And so, yeah, all the rooms have AC, super comfortable, just beautiful. Right downstairs, they have the restaurant where we have breakfast every morning, lunch, dinner, all the things. Looks right out on the water. It's beautiful. They also have this bar in one of the original warehouses that they built, and it is stunning. Really super cool place to hang out.
That's beautiful.
And this is a view from the restaurant. It's, again, gorgeous. It's fun to come back after diving every day, catch up, talk about what we saw and watch the sunset, look at Saba, look for the green flash. It's a gorgeous little island. You can kind of see on the right there's some posts sticking out of the water. That is right in front of the dive shop, which is literally like 10 seconds walk away from the hotel. It's right next door.
Actually, one of the dive shop owners said he timed it, and it takes him 7.2 seconds to walk from Old Gin House to Scuba.
Yeah, it's very convenient. The dive shop was also built in one of the original old warehouses. They just redid it, and it's beautiful. There's a full dive shop inside with great gifts and other things if you need to pick up some extras while you're there. They have some fantastic rental gear. Everyone dives nitrox. Nitrox is included, and the reason is most of the dive sites are a minimum of 60 feet. It's just the reefs are a little bit deeper here, which is great because they look fantastic. They're not affected or impacted as much by storms, but it does mean that if you want to have longer bottom times, you're going to want to dive nitrox. So definitely make sure you have your nitrox certification before you go. They also have that awesome patio out back, which is where we do all of our dive briefings. And they even have a little bar right there in the window. So if you want to grab some coffee between dives, or maybe get a glass of wine or a cocktail at the end of the day and talk about what you saw all day, it's perfect. They also have right out front, you can shore dive, although you can snorkel it. It's so shallow, and there's a lot of life right out there too. This is it looks like an old pier that was in front of that warehouse back in the day. But it's super easy. You can walk right in off the beach and see some pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, it's actually really kind of a cool little dive site.
Yeah.
But yeah, max depth is maybe 10 feet.
So depending on your breath hold abilities, you might not need to take a tank down with you. They have two different dive boats that they dive from. The big one is the Green Flash, and then they have a smaller one called Yellow Boat. But the great thing is all of the dive sites are within 10 minutes of the dive shop, or actually the marina where we leave from. So it's super easy. If you're worried about seasickness or anything like that, it's no big deal here because all the sites are so close. And yeah, the cool thing too, like we said, the island itself is about 8 square miles. You can see how far around the island the marine park extends. So they really take their conservation seriously, and you can tell once you dive there. I think there's maybe 2 dive shops on the island. So there aren't a whole lot of people in the water. So it's just incredible when you dive in. The reefs look great, and there's so much marine life, and they are not afraid. You can see all of the different dive sites that they have. So there's always somewhere to go. If there's like a little too much current at one, we just pick up and go somewhere else. But it's a great mix of reefs and wrecks and muck diving, which I didn't expect there. And we'll show you some photos of what we saw.
Great.
So beautiful reefs, lots of healthy coral, soft coral, hard corals, lots of sponges, tons of schools.
Oh yeah, these little guys. I mean, yeah, like Heather said, it just seems like the fish there are just, they're not overwhelmed by divers, so they're kind of curious about you. So you'll get a lot of close encounters.
Yeah, super cute. Tons of eels, lots of macro life. You don't see those very often.
No, exactly, the fingerprint.
Oh my gosh, and more boxfish and trunkfish than I've ever seen in one place. And like, not just the usual species that you're used to seeing. We saw a kind of cowfish that I hadn't seen anywhere else here in numbers. It was crazy. Super cute. More macro. Oh my God, and there's so many lobsters. There are lobsters everywhere.
There are lobsters on every single dive.
And again, they just don't care.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little up close and personal. I love the dive shop has these great maps that they've already made for all of the dive sites. So when you do your briefing, and we would come back to the dive shop in between every dive. So you could kind of chill out, grab some water, warm up a little bit, and then go over the next site. they have, like I said, they have a ton of reefs, and it's cool because you have this volcano that has definitely impacted the geology and topography topside, but you see that underwater as well. So you have a lot of these reefs that kind of have like, a bunch of ridges and valleys that you can swim over. There's also a ton of wrecks. Do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, the one thing to consider is that, like looking at this one, triple wreck, these are historic wrecks. That means that they are, up to 300 years old, and they were all wooden boats back then. So the only thing that remains are any of the metal artifacts. Anchors, like you see in the drawing there, cannons. It's amazing. On some of the dive sites, you'll find old bottles. The other thing that you find a lot of are clay pipes from when the sailors would be hanging around in the evenings, when they're in the harbor, got nothing else to do, and just sit around and smoke and drink and throw bottles over the side. Maybe somebody knocks a pipe out of somebody else's mouth and it ends up in the water. But also, like Heather said, you can kind of see from this map here is that they are a bit deeper, right? So the shallowest part is 55 feet deep. So that's why, again, nitrox is definitely a must.
Yeah, and one thing to consider too is the history of this place. 300 years ago, St. Eustatius was like the primary port in the Caribbean. This is where all the trading happened, all the action. So that big bay that's right in front of the dive shop would have hundreds of ships in it. So if you think about over time, like there's a lot of shipwrecks down there. They have an archaeologist who comes and finds new stuff all the time, especially if there's been a big storm and maybe some surge has shifted around the sand or things underwater. They're constantly finding new things. So it's really fascinating. You can see like some of the giant anchors they have, a cannon. This is one of the bottles that's still down there. And again, it was really just fascinating to learn more about the history of the island, both in terms of, the trade that really shaped it and what you see underwater, but also the big fort up on top and some of the history. Like you can do a historical tour while you're there, which we really recommend, just to learn a little bit more about what you're seeing. They also have some artificial reefs that were intentionally sunk, some ships there that makes for some spectacular wreck diving. They're great. They're huge. This is the Charles Brown, I think. There's also some other ones completely covered in life. Just really, really cool dives, and you could spend a lot of time there. The turtles love them. It's a very turtley place. There's a lot of sharks. We didn't see a lot when we were there, but I think they get a lot of nurse sharks and reef sharks. We had a ton of stingrays while we were there. But yeah, the turtles love the wrecks. They love to sleep on them. And again, you can get some crazy close encounters. And then this was one of my favorite sites. So in addition to the reefs and the wrecks, there's also a site that is kind of a muck dive. So for those of you who don't know what muck diving is, it's when you're in kind of a sandy or silty environment, or maybe it just doesn't, it's not kind of a traditional coral reef looking environment. But there's a lot of really special, unique life that likes to live there and hide out. So you have to, go slow, be on the lookout for some unusual things. But we found frogfish there. We did one dive there, and I could have spent days just diving this one site. We saw frogfish. We saw the cutest burrfish. I love those guys. Mm-hmm. We found mantis shrimp. Yes, in the Caribbean. Squids were following us around, trying to figure out what we were doing.
Lots of squid.
Jawfish with eggs. It was just, macro photographer's heaven. It was amazing. So that was pretty spectacular. But then there's also night dives.
Yeah, the night dives we did on the wreck, which was really cool. So again, just like normal, you dive the wreck during the day, and then you come back and you dive it at night, which is a completely different experience. Loads and loads of life coming out and just chomping around. This slipper lobster here, and lots of crabs, sleeping turtles. Yeah, just so much life there to see at night.
In case you're not sure what that is, I think that's a decorator crab with a big piece of sponge attached to that.
That thing was huge. That thing was like at least a foot.
Stuff you only see on the night dives. And then when you're done, the topside again is absolutely incredible. One thing that we didn't get to do when we were there last October, but we're hoping to do when we go again in February, is actually hike up the Quill. That's the volcano there, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's a pretty good hike, but it's supposed to be absolutely spectacular. And yeah, just kind of chilling out outside. Beautiful. There's a lot of great little local restaurants that are along the water there, but also up in town. I believe we did have a refrigerator in our room, so if you like to get snacks, there's a few little groceries you can stop into. It was just a super chill place the whole time we were there.
Yeah, and I don't think we mentioned it, but the one thing that we had to get used to there was that it's such a small little island, and everybody is so friendly that everybody will wave at you. You know, I told Heather that my arm was getting tired because a car would drive by or people would walk by, and you literally have to wave at everyone. If you don't wave at them, you're being rude.
Yeah, it's an awesome little place. So we're actually really excited because we're planning to go back in February. We were supposed to go in May over Memorial Day weekend, but sadly that did not happen. So we are planning to go back. Sorry, getting our screen back up here. And well, that looks funny. We're planning to go back in February over President's Day weekend for those of you who get that holiday off. And we do still have, I think, 3 or 4 spots left on that trip. I'm going to quit sharing now. But again, that's in February. And the cool thing is, for those of you coming from DC, you can actually, I think United has direct flights into St. Martin, or I know JetBlue flies to St. Martin, a number of other places too, but United has direct flights, and then you just take the little tiny plane on Winair over, and you can actually book all the way through on United. So that makes it super easy. Yeah, and we're looking forward to getting back. It's been a long time coming. It was really fun going through our photos and getting all excited about it again, but we're looking forward to it. So, you know, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to check on comments now. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and we'd be more than happy to get back to you and answer those. Same thing, if you want to get in touch with us about our trip in February, go to our website, check it out. We'd love to have you join us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you all underwater again soon.
Be safe, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.